Good day, good day, good day. This is Danielle here at the Black Healing Matters podcast, where we share ideas with you to hopefully get you one step closer to your healing. And today is a wonderful Wednesday. Yes, it is. And if you remember last Wednesday, we began a series called Welcome Wellness. Yes, in an effort to usher in more wellness into our lives, I began this series. So, today, I'd like to start with a short story. This morning, I woke up. I was awakened abruptly this morning by my husband. He literally shook me, like, wake up. And he said, my doctor's appointment. I'm like, what? He showed me his phone to show me the time. 10:25 a.m. And his doctor's appointment was at 10:30. And at that moment, I'm like, let's go. Like, I just kind of, snapped into overdrive. You know how it is. Like, when you wake up first thing in the morning, straight out of your sleep, out of deep sleep, and you find out, oh my God, I'm late. It's time to go. And so, here I am. I'm rushing. I'm going, getting, jump up out of bed, and at that point, when I jumped up out of bed, I realized I had a kind of a moment, like, wait a minute, this isn't me. And immediately, I stopped, took a deep breath, and I decided at that point that I was going to let whatever happened, and that I was not going to let this situation stress me or start my day off from a place of stress. And that decision completely changed the arc of this day, the trajectory of this day. So it could have started with just go, busy running. And maybe we would have made it, a few minutes earlier than we did. We ended up getting there around 11 o'clock actually. So we did pretty good. It's only 10 minutes away from here, so it's not that far. But we could have made it there in maybe 15 minutes instead of 30. But instead, I chose to take a deep breath. I even did a few yoga exercises this morning. I think I mentioned before, I do a series of exercises every morning. So I even did some of those exercises this morning, even while we were running late. And I can tell you that this is diabolically different than Danielle, 4 or 5 years ago. Danielle 5 years ago would have jumped out of bed and just attacked the day like a mad woman and going 90 miles an hour and be stressed out. That twisting, burning sensation in your gut when you're in a hurry and it seems like everything around you is moving at 2 miles an hour and you're trying to go at 200, and it's just like, the traffic is slow, you're dropping things, whoever, the people you're with, they don't act right, just things just don't come together like they should. And you find yourself in that point of stress. Like, I have been there so many times. Countless times I've been running late to work, to important appointments and things like that. And this morning, I realized that this was a real kind of pivotal fork in the road type moment for me. where I actually saw my growth. Have you ever experienced that before? Comment, let me know. Have you ever experienced a situation where it was a clear illumination of your growth because the way that you acted in that situation was completely different than the way you've ever reacted? And so today's Welcome Wellness Wednesday is really about emotional wellness. And emotional wellness, just as I told you in my story, has a lot to do with how we react to the stresses in our life. Do you let stress run you, or are you able to mitigate your stress, to meet it where it is and kind of extinguish it before it burns up your whole day? Yeah. So today I want to give you a few tips on emotional wellness, what to look for, and how to improve your emotional wellness. So we'll be right back in just a few with some tips to help you become even more emotionally well. And we're back. And as promised, I am going to give you just three tips to improve your emotional wellness. And so before I start, I'd like to say that emotional wellness, just like all the other forms of wellness, is very important. And therefore, these steps that I'm going to give you, whatever you choose, make sure to make it a priority in your life. Meaning, this is not just some extra thing to add on to your to-do list every day, onto your long list of things to do. But these tips, these things are things that will add value to your life. And so when we talk about welcome wellness, I call it welcome wellness because I want to make wellness a central part of our lives, so that it's just like going to work or cooking our food, preparing the food we eat. It's just a part of our daily lives, and it's not something extra. It's not something more that we have to add on or do a whole lot of work for. But it's something that we prioritize because it's best for us. It's what makes us better. And so, first tip, number one, from my story, I really strongly recommend that you find ways to manage your stress. And so that's my first tip, manage stress. Now, I'm not, and by any stretch of the imagination, going to tell you that you can get rid of all of your stress. And I don't think that's a good thing either. Stress is necessary. Stress keeps us safe, It keeps us sharp. But obviously, too much stress is not a good thing. And so, managing stress, what does that look like for you? Well, that may look like, meditating or being mindful. Whatever that is, for me, managing stress starts with understanding my trigger and catching that moment in which I'm triggered. For example, this morning when I woke up and literally was jolted out of my sleep, jumped out of bed, and I started to feel that kind of curling and burning sensation in my stomach. That's where my stress comes, and that's where I feel it first, in my stomach. And you may feel it elsewhere. You may feel it in your shoulders. You may feel it in your head. Wherever your stress manifests, you should know that. And so that's a kind of a flag. It's a trigger. Once you feel that, you know that you need to go quickly into some coping mechanism, whether it be deep breathing or yoga, or even just, a simple meditation, walking, moving meditation, mindfulness, whatever. But finding that trigger is really helpful. And that was a real turning point for me. Number 2, do what you like. Like, do what you like. What are you talking about, Danielle? Well, I'm talking about leisure. Prioritizing your leisure time. Whatever it is you like to do, whether it be movies or gardening or, being outside in nature, which is great, actually. I strongly recommend that. But you definitely make that a priority. Put it on your calendar, just like you put, work or, obligations with your family, kids, whatever. This should definitely be on your calendar. This should be in your schedule. And if somebody wants to do something during the time when you're supposed to be doing your leisure, you better tell them no, okay? you gotta tell them no, just like if you had to go to work. All right. And the last step, number 3, the last tip I'll give you is to become an active practitioner of gratitude. Yes, giving thanks. Gratitude is one of the keys to open the floodgates of goodness in this universe. I've experienced this many times, and for me, practicing gratitude starts first thing in the morning when I open my eyes. When I open my eyes in the morning, every day, normal morning, when my alarm clock goes off, before I get out of bed, as I turn off my alarm clock, I open my eyes, I take a deep breath, and I thank God for waking me up. And this is what I say: God, I thank you for waking me up and giving me another chance to go out and do what you put me here to do and be who you put me here to be. That's it, and I really just feel into that, and I really feel grateful. If something or someone had saved your life, how grateful would you be? How much gratitude would you show them? And that's the type of gratitude that I try to conjure every day, every morning, to God when I wake up. That in itself starts my day off in such a sweet way. It's hard to explain in words, but you try it. You let me know how you feel about it. And I would really love to hear your reaction as to how that worked for you. Okay, so those are my 3 tips for you. Number 1, manage your stress. Find out your stress trigger. Number 2, do what you like. Prioritize your leisure. And number 3, practice gratitude daily. Let me know how that works for you, and I would love to hear about your success. And as always, be blessed. Black Healing Matters.
Wow, this is such a powerful, magnetic, deep breathing exercise. I love it. I told you all this week that my intention on Set Your Intention Sunday was to do 5 minutes of deep breathing every day. And I found it difficult at first on Monday and Tuesday to just go 5 minutes. Because, I didn't want to be looking at the clock, but then I didn't know, when 5 minutes would be up. So I found that following a guided 5-minute meditation was really, or 5-minute breathing session was really helpful. And just came across this one on Lou's station, and it is phenomenal, magnetic. I love it. I hope it blesses you as it blessed me. And again, shout outs to Lou. Thank you so much, man. And as always, stay blessed, and Black Healing Matters.
Hey, Danielle, I wanted to call in about the triggers and dealing with stress. For me, the triggers can arise from disagreement sometimes and criticism. I actually talked about this today on my station. And one way in which how I am combating this is I'm stepping back from the situation and just giving it some time before I react too quickly. Because I find when I react really fast to situations that require a little more time, it's usually ill-conceived. So these are things that I'm working on still. And yes, when you talked about this subject, it instantly resonated with me.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.